Hello everyone and welcome back to another video at Leigh Junction. It has been absolutely ages since the last video, so sorry about that. That is mainly because I've been working pretty much from September all the way to December. I think September was the last video. And obviously now we're back in lockdown, so I've had lots of time. Now this video is going to be relatively short. I'm literally just going to go over some of the main updates and changes to the layout which have happened since the last video. And then the next few videos coming up will be more progress which you'll be able to see on the channel. Now, although a fair amount of things have actually changed in the layout, a lot of things have been smaller projects which weren't necessarily on the layout themselves. So I've been building a few kits, had to do some fixing up with the locos, a little bit of electrics here and there. But so starting off with some of the key updates is that you can see the hills, all the hills in front of you, the embankment on the left and on the right, they are painted brown. It's really not a huge change. I haven't been able to get any static grass or the applicator yet, but I will be getting that soon and I'll do that as a video. But they've all just been painted in a brown as a base layer, which means that it's easy to work up from with the grass, and that is pretty much all the hills which were white in the last video are now painted brown. So that's just a small update. Another one is the card kit building, just in the bottom of the shot there. So here's the building, which is a Metcalf one. It's an old factory building. Well, it doesn't look that old at the moment, but I'm pretty pleased with it. It all needs to be weathered down and make it look derelict. That's because this whole area by the line side is all going to be overgrown, because it was a big industrial area back in its day, but obviously over time it's derelict and abandoned, so that's going to look really good by the line side. I've just built it up at the moment, so it gives me sort of a good idea of how this whole area might look. I also might add in a canal along this side here, which would be quite fun to do. But yeah, that's the first kit which I've built up. So before I go on to the next kit that I've been building, I'll just talk about this area, because you probably would have seen in the previous shot that there's a great gaping hole in the corner which wasn't there before. It's not ideal. It's because I've been having some problems with the track up there. So if I just show you the points in the crossover there, I really have to have them there. They can't fit in anywhere else, but for some reason I've actually replaced the point and the crossover, so they're both new, but for some reason it's just like the HST just keeps derailing on it, and a few of the others, and it's been a nightmare. I haven't fixed it yet, but I had to remove the tunnel so I could actually get to it. I thought when I put the tunnel in the first place it was all fine, but clearly not. So that's something I'm trying to get done as soon as I can, so I can get the hill back on there and obviously do all the grass and make it look like a proper hill, because a brown hill isn't the nicest hill. So yeah, that's another little annoying thing, but hopefully I'll get it sorted very soon. So the next couple of kits I've been working on is firstly this retaining wall, which is by Metcalf in this grey stone, which I built up the other day and I really like it. That's going to go there. And before I did have another tunnel type thing by the underpass where the back two tracks are, but they look terrible, so I've taken them off and I've bought this second kit by Metcalf, the railway bridge. However, that was never going to fit where those two tracks are at the back, so I've been doing some modifying. It's not finished yet, but so this is the first bit. I'll put them in place so you can see them. So this is going to go this side, and then because the track is on a bend on the way out on that side, on the far back there, I've had to make it much wider, so I've had to sort of do a fancy brick pattern at the top there, but it actually looks alright. So I'll just put those in place and show you what they're going to look like. Okay, so I've placed the first tunnel port in there with the retaining wall up the side. Had to move it along a little bit, but I think it's going to look really good. Obviously they're just placed in there, so it's got a lot more work to do, and the tunnel port isn't finished yet. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to ballast the track before I can properly fit it all in, because it's going to be a nightmare trying to ballast underneath the bridge while all the card kit is in place. So I'll just talk you through what's going on here. So I couldn't do this tunnel port in particular at an angle like the other one is going to be, because obviously it's on a bend, so it would naturally be at an angle. So I've had to make it square, which means I've now got this weird flat piece on the edge of the curve. So I could have just built the hill up and done it over, but I couldn't see it working. So what I've decided to do is the 2 bits of track you've got on here, this point, I've got lots of old points which don't work anymore. So I was going to take one apart and basically make it look as if there was once a junction there, or like a siding. So I'm going to take like the rails apart and put old rails in there, and so with lots of weeds and things to make it look like it was an old junction a long time ago, because a lot of this area is quite derelict, so I think that could look quite good. So that's the plan for that area. Okay, so before I move on to the biggest update on the layout, I'll just finish talking about the bridge here. So for this section, obviously we've got the nice stone arch, which looks really nice, but obviously we've got nothing here, nothing on the other side. So I've been really unsure what to do with this for a long time, but I finally came up with a great solution which is going to look great. So I've bought 4 of these iron bridge girder sides from Pico. I've got 4 of these, and obviously they're just plastic, but literally like yesterday I was weathering them all up, making them look dirty with some enamel paints, giving them a bit of rust. So I'm really pleased with these. They've come out really well, and I'm going to have 2 on either side. I can't hold both of them obviously, so I can have one there and sink the other one in there, and then the repeat on the other side. And I've got some bridge supports which are going to go properly underneath there as well. Right, okay then, so this is the biggest update on the layout since the last video. Now, if you're following me on Instagram, you may have actually already seen this, because I did this in December, and the updates I was able to do, I posted them on Instagram just because it was easier at the time, because I was working a lot, so just posting something on Instagram was a lot easier. Anyway, so the old inclines and the old bends and the old junction previously, which you would have seen in the last video, were just terrible. Like, the inclines were too steep and the bend was too tight and the junction just didn't work. So I thought I had to do a drastic decision to just rip it all up and start again, and it was it was definitely such a good idea. Sure, I lost a bit of space on the right here, but honestly it was worth it, because the inclines are so much better now. The bends, the trains look so much better going around the bends, and the junction works really well. So this is, I guess, not really much else to say about it. Obviously you can see I've started doing some of the scenery, so I built up some of the hills, and there's going to be I did have a little yard in the corner there, but I took that out as well. So this whole part of the layout really has changed. So that's going to be a hill in the background there as well. So yeah, this is probably the biggest change, and I'll show you some of the trains running around on it. Also, another thing is the sidings you can see to the right here, they're just temporary. I just had too much stock and there wasn't enough space for all in the station, so they're just stored here really. They aren't going to stay here. I haven't made up my mind what I'm going to do with the rest of this area, but yeah, that's just there temporarily. So before I finish up this video and bring it to an end, I will just go over a few of the new additions we've had to the layout. First up is so my Class 20, which hasn't featured before. I've had it for ages, but that's now running. But what it's pulling, I now have a rake of 7 Bachmann Pullman coaches. I got these all on eBay. I got 3 and then a ratchet 4. Really pleased with these. Although they're not in perfect condition, they still look absolutely brilliant, and is a great new addition to the layout. And they also go really well with a couple of the steam locos, as you can imagine. Now moving on, previously I already had one Network Rail Mark II coach. I've now got a second Mark II coach and a Mark I, because I'm trying to create a certain train. So I just need to get one more Mark II, which I'll be able to get pretty soon, and then hopefully, I don't know when, but soon, I would like to get 2 Class 67s to go at either end of the train. I was originally thinking both in Colossus Rail, because obviously that's really practical. You see a couple of them pulling a Network Rail train. However, I don't really have much else the Colossus Rail 67s can pull, and in real life they don't really tend to pull like that much as in a variety. So I was thinking about getting a EWS 67 and the Colossus Rail 67 to go at either end, which I have seen. I did some Googling to make sure it had actually happened. And it also means then I can use the EWS one to pull lots of other stock. So yeah, that's a couple more things hopefully to look forward to in the future. Now I'll leave you with a couple running shots before I end this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it and you've seen some progress and some updates on the layout, and there's much more to come. The next video will most definitely be a ballasting video, which I've been wanting to do for absolutely ages. I just need to do a tiny bit more work on the stationary with the track, and then it'll be ready to ballast. So that video will be coming very soon, so be sure to watch out for that one. And then lastly, if you're not already following me on Instagram, and you have Instagram, be sure to, because I post sort of every couple of days on there with more updates. So if you would like to see more content, be sure to go check out the Instagram page. It's just north_Leigh_Junction. So yeah, I shall now leave you with a few running sessions of the trains going around, and I shall see you very soon in the next video.